The power of this film isn't dependent on the size of the screen. I first saw the film in a packed theatre in Mumbai and I cried and wept and we all clapped at the end. The flashbacks also enable us to understand why the boys don't leave, despite repeatedly being told that their friend cannot survive. Manjummel Boys is a ferociously emotional and fabulously crafted ode to friendship. Writer-director Chidambaram, DOP Shaiju Khalid, music director Sushin Shyam, editor Vivek Harshan, art director Ajayan Chalishari, sound designers Shaijin Hutton and Abhishek Nair do what Alfred Hitchcock had famously said, they play the audience like an organ. I first saw the film in a packed theatre in Mumbai and I cried and wept and we all clapped at the end. But that punch to the gut lands on the smaller screen also. Even watching alone at home for a second time, I was tense, I gasped, I wept. The power of this film isn't dependent on the size of the screen. The boys in the title aren't actually boys. They're young men from the small town of Manjummel in Kerala. They're seemingly ordinary, most stuck in low-paying jobs. One is a driver, another works in a garage, a third is a shop assistant. The oldest, Kuttan, played by the marvelous Soubin Shahir, who's also one of the co-producers, still isn't married. At first glance, these men come off as good-for-nothing rowdies. Early in the film, we see them at a wedding. Several are drunk, they're causing a ruckus. In the heat of the moment, they challenge a rival gang to a tug-of-war, but they can't even win that. But this tug-of-war sequence has a payoff in the climax that is one of the most rousing moments in the film. Their deep bond and their ability to work together as one beating heart is ultimately what saves them. Manjummel Boys is based on a true story. The incident of a boy falling into a deep gorge and then being rescued by one of his friends took place at the Guna Caves in Kodaikanal in 2006. Chidambaram weaves into this story Kamal Haasan fandom. He stitches in Ilayaraja's classic Tamil song Kanmani Anbodu Kadhalan, which means, "My dear, this is your lover." The song is from the 1991 film Guna, which starred Kamal Haasan and was shot in Kodaikanal, including at the place known as Devil's Kitchen, which features in this film. But even if, like me, you know nothing about Guna and don't get the weight of the reference, the way the song is used has impact. This is only Chidambaram's second film, but he tells his story with great skill. In the first 40 minutes or so, he sets up the group and their dynamics. Through this stretch, he hints at their willingness to break the rules. So they will take pictures where there is a sign that clearly states, "Photography not allowed." One of them is reprimanded by a guard for smoking in a forest. Subhash, played by Sreenath Bhasi, goads them into going into an off-limits area of the forest. "What a boring gang Manjummel Boys would be if we don't go in there," he says. The build-up to the eventual accident is so well done that when it happens, the shock is just devastating. It's palpable. Through the film, Chidambaram and Shaiju cut from wide shots of the dense forest to the claustrophobia of the area around the gorge. Nature remains brutally indifferent to the tragedy playing out. As the hours pass, the boys get increasingly desperate. When the locals and even the police advise them to leave, Kuttan only says, "What will I tell his mother?" When nothing else works, Kuttan decides to lower himself into that deathly space. But this heroism isn't born in that minute. Chidambaram also weaves in haunting, poetic flashbacks which show us these men as boys, playing hide and seek or swimming in the river. Kuttan has always had that courage. The flashbacks also enable us to understand why the boys don't leave, despite repeatedly being told that their friend cannot survive. That is the bond they share. And the narrative doesn't position them as larger-than-life heroes. They're just ordinary men doing what comes naturally to them. The lyrics of the Ilayaraja song translate as, "This is not human love for mere mortals to understand, it's much beyond." I don't know how many of us are capable of the sort of friendship these men, especially Kuttan, display here, but it's worth aspiring to. You can watch Manjummel Boys on Disney+ Hotstar.